I love the ladder of inference. As I said yesterday in introducing this workshop, we try to stay on the side of practical and things you can take away. I want to get a little more philosophical here and talk about the ladder of inference. This was developed by Chris Argyris at Harvard, and I think it's just a wonderful piece of information. It helps us understand how we develop our belief systems. And I think this is very important for a facilitator, to have this awareness. What we're going to do, we're going to climb up this ladder and talk about how we ultimately get to the top of the ladder, and that's where we take action. And it's wonderful that we have this ladder of inference and this process, because this is how we have evolved. So let's run up the ladder here. All of you are bombarded with data 24 hours a day. Your senses, your five senses are receiving data constantly. Now there's data you process, and there's data you don't process. You just dismiss it because you don't need it. You've all heard of the people who live next to the train tracks, but they no longer hear the trains go by. That's data they don't need. We were doing this workshop a couple of years ago, and at the end of the day, a lady came up and said, I need to share with you, I grew up at the end of O'Hare Airport, at the end of the runway. Our house was right at the end of the runway. And she said it wasn't just loud. She said when the planes were taking off over our house, the house would shake. The dishes would shake in the cupboard. She said she was taken to that house from the hospital, and she left at 18 to go to college. And she said she went to bed every night and slept like a baby. How could you do that? I just can't imagine deselecting information that's that intrusive. But she did it. So there's information we don't need, and we don't bother ourselves with it. But there's information that we need, so we select that information. Now, I don't know, I'd love to talk with, if somebody has some insight into this after this is over. I have read that there's a body of thought that kids with autism don't have the ability to deselect. And at a certain age, they've tolerated it as long as they can. They're in information overload. So the way they cope with it is turn off. Now, I don't know if I believe that or not. I'm not sophisticated or knowledgeable enough to say that is true or not true, but it certainly helps me understand this whole ladder of inference thing. So there's information that we select. There's information that we dismiss. Based upon the information you select, you make assumptions. Based upon the assumptions, you draw conclusions. Based upon those conclusions, you've developed a whole belief system. Now, you've worked on this all of your life. And this is good. As I said, this is how we have evolved. In the summer, let's say it's summer, and you're out in the woods walking, taking a hike, and you look down and 3 feet in front of you is a rattlesnake. You don't go, oh, rattlesnake. I shall now collect data to determine how I will respond to this reptile. Heck no. Your belief system has been in place for a lifetime. Danger. Get away. This is good. This whole issue of the ladder of inference is good. As long as the data you select is correct and appropriate. This goes to the heart of ethnic and racial stereotyping. You are a product of your whole life, over the number of years, all of the influence, all of the information that you've been fed, whether it's accurate or not. You have developed a belief system. We need to do this reflexive loop. We need to back up and challenge ourselves. Is it correct? Now, here's another fallacy. Many times we choose the information that supports the belief system we already have in place.